Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, assorted members of the jury, today we are going to be taking a very deep dive in terms of Age of Mythology viewing experiences of a Thor player, Lucky Bam, but not Lucky Bam at all. This is Keto, and a Hades player who goes by the name of Pegasus. He's going to be our red player today. And we've already got... Wow! What is this? Please explain. Someone explain what happened here. I don't understand. Someone, please, anyone? He chopped the tree down? Hang on, what? What? Hello? What happened? Wait, someone... What?
Πρόσταγμα έτοιμη.
Okay. I got it. I'm going to explain what happened because I'm pretty sure I've worked it out. Pegasus went onto a palm tree until he managed to send the Deuterinos back. I don't think he actually needed to do that. And then he moved over onto this gold mine. He put like 5 villages on the gold mine, got the temple down as fast as he humanly could. And all of a sudden, he is going to be getting himself Vaults of Erebus and with a ridiculously speedy time. This is I think this is on pace for as fast as 3DB did it when I was watching him early days. But the cleanness of this is ridiculous. And the house to come down. Is he going to get villager blocked? Wow. All right, guys, we've got a new speediest Hades build in town. Like, credit where credit's due here. Pegasus is a creative individual. This is absolutely bonkers. Technology in record time. There is a lot of inefficiency with the palm trees doing its thing. But the villagers pull off the palm tree anyways and come back over onto the gazelle. So it's like, why not? Why not? It's like you're saving time anyways. Makes sense. And we're going to see a 315 advance with the fastest Vaults of Erebus ever. Now, arguably, I'm not here to make judgment. I'm just going to give some alternate opinions. Or alternate possibilities. If this was against something that was going to be harassing you a little bit earlier, maybe this is a better option than just going for the slower thing. But I don't see any real advantage against Thor advancing fast. So you're probably fine to just do this and go for like a 330 or a 430 or a 445. Probably. But I love it nonetheless. This is really, really cool. On the other hand, we see exactly what Keto's on about here. Keto is... This is like peak Keto. He's like, okay, Hades player, they're always advancing super late. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that they're going to advance super late. And I'm going to advance just that little bit later. But Pegasus hasn't. Pegasus is building military academy, archery range in the center. He is ready to get going in this game. And there is a real big problem with Mr. Keto's strategy here. And the big problem is he went on to chickens instead of the berries first. The only reason this is a problem is they are exposed. They are sitting out like a sore thumb. This is such a gigantic weakness in the position of Keto. Now, if Keto had eaten the berries first and foremost and then walked over to the chickens, maybe he could have defended the chickens, but there's no way he's going to be able to defend these berries. So he will have to jump onto, well, he's going to finish up on the gazelle as well. He will have to jump onto those goats here nice and early as we've got Great Hall, double Great Hall on the way. And the army of Pegasus to come through. Pegasus, oh my god, that's a fast bronze armor. Both of these guys are just being absolutely insane. This is the fourth. This looks like it's the fourth upgrade. Yeah, he hasn't got himself the hammer of thunder just yet, but this is this is two very, very interesting ways to play a game of Age of Mythology, and there's nothing. I mean, this is the top level. This is where, and this is the top level. This is experimentation at its peak. This is what you love to see. House coming up over onto this side. You got the longhouse over here. You've got everything coming through beautifully. You got the Valkyrie coming through for Keto here. There is an Achilles in hot pursuit, but 6 speed is always going to be more than 5.3. You heard it here first. 6, yes, indeed. I know I get some heat for how my maths is, but you know, this Valkyrie is going to be completely fine here to retreat away. I guess on the other thing here to think about, right, is there is a small problem with this, and that's that this gold mine is about to expire. Pegasus probably could have a Pegasus here. Pegasus could probably have a Pegasus here, or a scout, or a unit of some sort, just having the idea of what's going on in the berry bush, right? So he never lets that get grabbed. But yeah, Keto has to drop himself the Dwarven Gold Mine right now. Absolutely has to drop the Dwarven Gold Mine. As the Golden Lions here will get sniped down. Nice little find. And Achilles on the way, looking for any sort of damage. Meanwhile, Pegasus, if he can break through this Great Hall, he's got access to that back wood line. So that's all he's got to sort of open up here. And there's not really an easy way for Keto to defend that position. But then again, well, I mean, you have to sort of make some guesses about where things are. He does know that that's there. So he could try. Obviously, the dwarves could move up onto this side, but the way that Keto's built his base wouldn't be very easy to do that. And now the villagers back onto the berries, and the army inside the main base of Pegasus. Great find. 1 villager down. 2 villager down. 3 villager down. No. And the Zom gets dropped. And this one raid here is just relieving Keto so much of this pressure as a flaming weapons gets dropped down. That will be a dead Achilles. Got to be careful staying near the forest fire. It does do a hefty amount of damage. Look at the units coming in. Actually, never mind. It is doing some damage. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to put it out there once again. I've said this already. Forest fire should do less damage to villagers and more damage to army. I've said this before. I'll say it again. I think it should be like 2x versus it should be doing like twice as much versus army, and half as much versus villagers. But anyways, I like that usage there from Keto. I'd say that's the ethical usage of forest fire. That's the ethical usage of forest fire right now. Oh dear. Anyways, units now moving out onto this gold mine. Keto has managed to find himself a little bit of outside gold, but as the army comes over, this will need to be defended. The raiding cavalry are not in position to defend just yet. They're very, very powerful, however. There is... Oh, no. Never mind. He cancelled it. He faked. That was a big fake. Copper mail was never researched. As the army of Keto spots exactly where Pegasus is. Pegasus still has got restoration, but because he's just clicked up to the heroic age here, it's a really interesting movement out of his base. I'm not... Like, he's obviously just poking to some degree and making sure that Keto isn't doing things like sneaking to the heroic age himself, not grabbing this gold mine without a sizable amount of army. You kind of can do that with a Pegasus, though. This is risky because if Keto saw that army, which he did see, and was able to surround it with what he's got, he probably would have either forced out a restoration or just completely cleaned the army up. But yeah, Pegasus gets his heroic gauge in, going to pull back to his main base, pump out units, and it's going to be most likely going to be some sort of an Underworld attempt here at a gold starve. He's going to be getting himself the Sarissa upgrade, going for that heavy infantry, gets himself the copper weapons as well. Lots and lots of food and gold in the bank here just to afford everything. He's going to get a couple more units out. Got the Manticore and the Underworld passage to come down right now. We'll start getting just a little bit of damage, and there's so many units here though for Keto. I don't know about this one. There's still technologies coming through. Restoration gets dropped down. Keto has to take this fight. The Herso get on top of the Minotaur, clean that one up nicely. Pegasus, great control, sniping down the Throwing Axeman with those Toxotes beautifully. The Hoplites doing a hefty amount of damage here. The population advantage, and it's not really a defender's advantage because the Underworld is there. That being said, there's going to be production coming through for Keto nicely here as the Throwing Axeman pull back. We see a deleted house over onto that one as now the Underworld can get targeted down. A nice defense from Keto, and Pegasus gonna have to think about the next way to make things happen here. A couple units coming in, sniping and throwing Axeman, and the Underworld is indeed done. Pegasus is not going to go through that again and risk as the dwarves can move back over onto this gold mine. They were over here for a hot second, but they say that's too dangerous. Let's get that all sorted out. Next move here for Keto is very, very important. He's got to get to the heroic age. He needs that 50 favor dwarven gold mine and all of the beautiful stuff that comes from either for Skadi or from Bragi here. If he doesn't get those, it's going to be very, very tough. There's heavy archers to come through. Bronze armor as well for Pegasus. He's got a great position now. There's obviously still a very large lead on economy, but when it comes down to it, economy doesn't really mean that much when you've already got an army out to deal with. Like, what's the economy going to do? But there are a lot of these Valkyries, and these are big helps. These are healing up all of his units, and there's no heroes in the army just yet. One Ajax is coming through. Over onto this side, the Golden Lions to come through and say good day. As Pegasus back in for another fight. Hoplites doing a great job of body blocking, but there's so many raiding cavalry here to just face tank as he's managing to break through the Hoplites. Good control from Keto to pull back ever so slightly, stay out of range there of those Toxotes. And the army of Pegasus looks like it gets cleaned up here. Great fight for Keto. He's going to be feeling great now. He's got the economy going for himself with 55 villages to 47. He's got the army now as well. He can look for raids onto the gold mine on the bottom of the map. He can look for a side build over here, which is going for the longhouse there as well. He can go for a town center as well. If he so chooses, he could move villages out of his base and put them onto this hunt over here or over onto this hunt here as well. Lots and lots of different options to go for the moment. But Pegasus has still got the defensive advantage. He's still got the tech advantage right now. He's even got an armory advantage, it's kind of looking like. But he doesn't have the production. I was saying for a second there, the economy doesn't matter. When it does matter is post-fight. That's when it's the most important, post-fight. If you take a bad fight, lose all your units, and you've got bad economy, and your opponent's got good economy, generally you lose. If you take a bad fight and you've got good economy, you're all good. You're going to be able to continue through in the game. If you take a bad fight and you're equal on economy, well, too bad. You probably lost the game. That's the way things go. There's a whole bunch of Goatee to come through. Valkyrie as well. Dizablot on the way. One of my favorite upgrades for myth units. This thing makes those Valkyrie hit like a train. I think it also increases the healing, right? Yeah, so this is another thing that I've been thinking about more and more lately. I say it quite a bit, but exactly what does this mean? I'm trying to like gauge exactly what this means. What does it mean to heal a unit? If this Valkyrie here is at 413 HP and costs 480 resources, man, 1 HP is basically worth 1 resource. So each one of these Valkyrie healing at 7.5 HP a second, you're getting 7.5 resources a second. Well, go on, 380 resources. Do the math. Do the hot math for me. I can't do that. I can't do that. That's too hard for me. Like, I try. I like to try, but I'm not some calculator. 380 resources just for 1 Valk. Wait. Sorry, 380 resources.
Yow.
Shut up, Nalra. Leave me alone. I can't do math. 480, 380. It's the same thing. Point is, free resources in the bank for healing. As we do see some Berserk raids coming in from this little side build, but a Fortress up for Pegasus is going to shut that all down. He's searching around for things to do here. He's got to be a little bit careful, though. If he keeps throwing units into the meat grinder, doesn't quite have enough resources for another restoration. His army is very, very strong, but you still got to be careful with how you take the fights. Moving forward. As now the Frost Giant is in, and a big frost onto this army here. This is your... Okay, people might ask. Okay, Frost is terrible, right? I can't get anything done with Frost. Okay, what do you want to do with Frost? Well, Frost is about setting up an engagement for yourself to give yourself the best possible chance of winning the fight. You're probably not going to kill all too many units from it. But if those raiding cavalry can surround all the Toxotes on the back, if those thrown axemen can be in a nice position away from the Toxotes to start hitting those hoplites, and all of a sudden, life gets very, very tricky. Very, very tricky for the Frosted player. So this is a great Frost here, but the raiding cavalry are not at all in a good position right now. They're targeting down this group of units. That being said, Valkyries taking a huge amount of damage from those heroes as well. These Goaty, not useful at all in this fight with such a very limited amount of myth units, but nonetheless, he's got them out there as the army to come back in, coming through to try and deal with the remaining Toxotes here and everything else. And Pegasus on the retreat path, trying to get out of this position. Great little turnaround here. Keto now having to deal with the restoration as well, so at least a decent trade to come through here for Pegasus. He's able to take down some villages as well, but he is stuck. He can run out this way, but I'm not sure he's all too aware of that. Moving up to the top side of the map now, going to be looking to hit these villages. He's got the Pegasus flying overhead to get that knowledge in, but they're going to be making a run for the town center. A gold mine to get dropped down underneath the town center to add insult to injury here. The army for Keto now coming back in as the Valkyries in full charge, but getting met by hoplites yet again. This time, however, there's a town center to support. The Huskell are out. Throwing axemen getting cleaned up very, very quickly by those Toxotes. No longer targeting them down, however, anymore. And it's looking like the army for... Oh, no, reinforcements from the surface here as Pegasus says, I am ready to continue even longer in this fight. Goaty getting big damage done, but they're still not that useful here. So Pegasus's army doing a great job, even though it's under the town center. A couple of Berserks actually getting converted in there as well, as Keto wants to win this fight, and in a nice fashion. That's a lot of villager deaths, technically speaking, for Keto here. As Pegasus, he gets the damage done. Good trade. He's now only a tiny bit of villagers behind, probably actually gathering more resources total than Keto here would be my guess, with the Vaults of Erebus tech and everything else. You see, oop. Just like Hagrid's villagers, Keto's have gone, or Army Keto's has gone on strike as well. They want to join the war effort. Nonetheless, still Pegasus, one town center. Now this is this is one thing that was sort of a unwritten rule of the flow chart of Age of Mythology, right? From Legacy, which is if you're going to play a one town center game and a prolonged one town center game, probably better to stay one town center, go to the Mythic Age first, and then do things. However, it really does depend on everything going on. While Pegasus hits the Mythic Age here, he doesn't have the units out. Keto is cleaning everything up. This gold mine over here is expired. Pegasus, he can move over onto this gold mine. This gold mine here is almost expired as well. Keto's managed to get himself a huge amount of resources going in this game, and he is putting the clamps down on Pegasus right now. Maybe with a raiding party, Kavoth and May Shadowfax, both you guys at the same time. Love you guys. As the town center up here going to be completed, and we see Tia on the way now for Keto. Onto the bottom side of the map, villagers having a shank. I mean, it's so tough. This is such a good play from Keto. Just putting some barracks down here, making some berserks, force units to come over here, or forces units to come over here. The villagers have to retreat. The raiding cavalry can come through. The Zom coming in onto this one as well. There's a raiding cavalry berserks to retreat back. There will be one interesting thing here that Pegasus can try, but because there's so many Goaty out, or there were so many Goaty out, I don't know if they still are or not. Let me have a quick look. Yeah, there's 6 Goaty out. It might be fine. He could go into Chimera here. 87 favor in the bank, 12 villages on favor. It's going to be like 3 Chimera plus the upgrade, is my guess. I can't remember if it's 20 or 30 favor for the Chimera, actually. Anyways, probably 3 because you get a free one as well, right? Where is it? 30 favor, yeah. So 3 with the free one plus the Flames of Typhon. And that can be enough to snipe off a hefty amount of units. If you don't know how this unit works, he's doing 20 divine damage on the attack, plus 5 divine damage per second, which lasts 6 seconds. So 30 potential. So potentially 50 divine damage. These raiding cavalry, only 142 HP. So if you've got enough of them, it can be very, very powerful. As Earthquake into the main base here. Keto's town center will be falling. The Goaty are in to rebuild immediately here. However, the follow-up for Pegasus not looking so good. As the villagers moving up to the top side, looking for a little something. Pegasus is just like, okay, if I can get in here and deny this town center, that's going to be great. But little does Pegasus know, he's currently playing against... Oh, no, this one's just started. He does know. He knows he's up against 3 town centers over here. He knows he's got heavy hoplites. There is Tyr on the way. There is a bronze shield on the way as well. And it looks like we aren't going to be seeing the Chimera. We're going to be seeing another restoration usage momentarily. That being said, Pegasus has got 0 gold income. 0. So he's got 1 fight left in him right now. 1 fight. Plus a handful of units not really available. Keto smartly pulling back for the time being. However, his villagers have been spotted trying to just wait this one out to get a really nice engagement. The raiding cavalry diving in, however, on top of those hoplites. Restoration gets dropped down here. Population is dropping for Keto as Pegasus was staying strong for a little bit as the restoration completes there. Now Pegasus looks like his army is getting erased. And it looks to me like Keto is able to defend one last time against this blow after blow after blow that Pegasus has been trying to subject Keto to. He has played an incredibly well-defended game here. There was the Underworld. There was the early game pressure onto this berries. The raid that he did to allow himself to relieve pressure, to allow himself to get those berries, that was key. I think to be honest, if Pegasus had maybe played that one perfectly and just denied the barrage for the entirety of the game, I'm not sure how this would have gone for. I'm not sure how this would have gone for Keto at all if these berries were just denied. Because like after the goats were done, he would have had to go onto farms. Probably couldn't afford it, but he felt like he had to chase the raiding cavalry around. I think if he just built units to his base at that stage and just sat there, and then if the army came and tried for an engagement, you can sort of move in, maybe go halfway, like half the units here, half the units here, have a Pegasus floating, maybe have the units here and have another batch over here, and you can kind of like go between the two, defending raiding cavalry while hitting this. I'm not exactly sure, but if he could have done that, the game would have been over ages ago. Then he moves over, he drops the Underworld passage onto this gold mine, and I think he just did it too early. I think if he waited for 175 pop with heavy, then the trade would have been really interesting. That being said, potentially if he did that and he waited, then maybe Keto could have got to the heroic age and had frost. So it's like a big question of like, I don't know, maybe it would have worked, maybe it wouldn't. He did a decent amount of damage there, but in the end he lost the fight. And then from then on, not grabbing a town center, trying to get to the mythic age, taking another fight while going to the mythic age, all of it just kind of culminated in Keto playing what he does best, a very, very nice defensive Thor. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this one, please consider following the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Welcome everyone from everyone else's stream, and I'll see you guys in the next game.